What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to be recapping episode 2 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16. So, if you're in for it, go ahead and get comfortable. We're going to get into all the tea. Thank you for watching and tuning in here at Damien After Dark. Before we begin, make sure you click that subscribe button to get locked into all things pop culture and reality TV. Click that thumbs up button and like this video. That helps me get into the YouTube algorithm. Join the conversation and get in the comment section below. Leave me all your thoughts and opinions on episode 2. And last but not least, if you would like to donate to the channel to help us contribute and grow, or if you'd like to donate to the channel and contribute to help us grow and sustain, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate. Okay, baby? Okay, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for your love, your support, all that. It never goes unnoticed. I truly, truly appreciate you. Okay. So let's get into this episode. There's a lot going on this episode, this season. We know Porsha versus Drew was a central focus on episode 2. We know that Shamia and Angela Oakley sort of butted heads. One of the new girls, one of the new peaches. How are you guys liking the new girls thus far? Britt, Kelly Farrell, and Angela Oakley, the 3 newest Atlanta housewives. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about them, okay? Now, let's get into it. So, Porsha versus Drew. The episode starts with Drew being confronted over her newly formed relationship, business partnership with Dennis, who happens to be Porsha's baby's father, right? Shamia tells Drew, 3 people at the club, or Shamia says, 3 people that I knew said they saw you at the club booed up with Dennis and wearing matching outfits. Now, I don't know about y'all, but usually when you wear matching outfits with somebody, it's kind of like, gotta look at you with the side eye like, well, what's going on, right? Drew says that she told Porsha about her meeting with Dennis, and Porsha says, I want to make it clear that I don't care. Porsha says that she does not care. She says that, but then in the same breath, she has a problem with it. She's kind of going back and forth with she don't care. I think she's trying to say that she doesn't care if Drew and Dennis are involved romantically, but she just doesn't want it to be a part of the show, be a storyline. We heard her this episode talk about how her and Dennis had a good co-parenting relationship, and she was worried about Dennis and Drew getting together and being on this show together and it creating drama and messing up the flow and the balance that they had in their co-parenting relationship, which I could somewhat understand, right? I can kind of see both of their sides on this situation. Now Drew talks about, she tries to mention that, Dennis made this professional pitch to her regarding her music career and how, he's been her angel. She said he's been her angel on earth. That was what she said. Now, Drew, that's where you lost me. Because if you're trying to prove to these girls that you and Dennis have nothing going on, calling him your angel on earth, do you call your business partner that? Do you call your music producer that? I'm just thinking about people that I've worked with. I'm not going to call them my angel on earth unless maybe I have some feelings for them. Now that, if you notice, when Drew said that, that was the comment that I feel like made Porsha cock it back, aim, and fire, right? That was the comment. If you watch, Porsha was like, okay, I've gave you the benefit of the doubt, because it's like you're in my face saying that you two have nothing going on, but at the same time you call him your angel on earth. I would give Drew the benefit of the doubt had she not said that, right? Had she not said that, I would give her more of the benefit of the doubt than I would be giving Porsha. Now, Porsha looks at Drew and she says, you are a low down, dirty individual. I said, ooh, okay, here we are, episode 2. Shots fired, right? You are a low down, dirty individual, and you know what I'm talking about. That's what Porsha said. And then we hear Porsha say to the producers, is there a producer in here? Excuse me, can we break the fourth wall? She asked the producers, can we break the fourth wall? Now, for those that don't know, everybody doesn't know. I was watching this episode with my mom, and she asked me, what does breaking the fourth wall mean? So for those that don't know, breaking the fourth wall is when you talk about behind the scenes stuff that you normally wouldn't talk about, right? Because if you're looking at me in the camera right now, you've got the wall in front of you, you've got the wall to the left of you, and you got the wall to the right of you. The fourth wall would be what's going on behind the camera. That's the fourth wall, right? So Porsha's pretty much asking producers, like, look, can I bring up stuff that happened behind the scenes? Because normally you can't do that. Y'all remember when Denise Richards on Beverly Hills said, bravo, bravo, fucking bravo? Remember when she did that? That was her way of trying to cut everything that they're saying out of the conversation, because she knows if she says bravo, 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 that's breaking the fourth wall. You're not supposed to bring up production. You're not supposed to bring up the network. You're not supposed to bring up things that happen behind the scenes, pay, cameramen, producers, things like that. So she asked the producers, can I break the fourth wall? And the producer says, break it. Go ahead and break it. So Porsha says, you have been trying to go behind my back and film with Dennis. And she says that it's complicating her life while she's going through this divorce. And again, like I said, she's worried. Porsha is worried about something becoming a storyline. Portia's worried about exactly what's happening now. It's becoming an issue. It's becoming a storyline. Drew is one of the housewives are dating Porsha's baby daddy. It seems like half the cast has been with Porsha's baby daddy at this point. I'm just saying, right? Now, another thing that Porsha accuses Drew of that she's upset about is she says Drew called production and told them that she wanted to do a photo shoot with Porsha's hair company, Go Naked Hair. Y'all know Porsha's got her own hairline called Go Naked. Drew wanted to do a separate photo shoot by herself with Porsha's Go Naked Hair. And that to me was a little sneaky too, right? Because we can look at the whole Dennis situation like, okay, we can kind of look at it. But when it comes to the hair situation, I'm Team Porsha on that, because why are you trying to do photo shoots and do business opportunities with my company behind my back? You know what I mean? Like, that's a little weird to me. That's a little strange, a little odd. And I had to think about it too, especially with the whole Dennis situation and Drew. How would it look if Porsha were going into business with Ralph and they were working together and Porsha and Ralph were wearing matching clothes and all that good stuff? It wouldn't look good, right? We'd be calling Porsha gold digging hoe. We'd be calling Porsha, oh, you stealing folks, man. Blase, blase, blah. Now, as I'm watching Porsha go in on Drew, I'm just like, I'm gonna need Drew to get a little bit more oomph in her chest, okay? Because Drew, I hate to say it, Drew, but you come off as a pussy at times, okay? The way Porsha went in on you and you just sat there like, like it kind of made you look guilty in a way. Like, if this is not happening, stand on your shit, be firm in your shit, and get back in Portia's ass and say, look, B, I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to, but you got the wrong goddamn one. Not today, not tomorrow, and not yesterday. I ain't been with Dennis. We're working together. Come to me correct. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be firm. Stand firm and shit. Because if you don't, bitches will run all over you. Right? If you don't, hoes will run all over you. Now, we see that scene ends. We see Angela. We get to see Angela Oakley in her home. We meet more of her this episode. We didn't get to see much of her last week. We just saw her at the party where she was kind of introduced to us. But now we're in her home. We're getting to see her and her family. One of the things that I took away from Angela that thought was interesting that I like about her is that she's a self-made millionaire. I assumed Angela just married into rich, married an NBA player and has been a housewife all of her life. But Angela flips homes. Angela's been in, would you call it real estate? Or would you just call it home flipping? I don't know. Either way, Angela, gets older homes, foreclosed homes, whatever. She takes them, she renovates them, flips them, makes the money, and she said that she's a self-made millionaire from that. So that was nice to see. I'm like, okay, Angela, come in and let the people know that you just ain't no real housewife, baby. That you a real multimillionaire housewife. Let them know. Let them know that you don't need a man. Let them know that you came into this with your own bread, not Charles Oakley's bread, right? Because by the looks of it, Charles, when they showed that picture of her husband playing basketball, it looked like he played basketball in the 80s, maybe early 90s. So I'm sure that NBA money has, and listen, I don't know Charles Oakley's net worth. I don't like to use Google either because I feel like it's not. Let's just see what Google say about Charles Oakley's net worth. I don't like using Google because a lot of times this is not accurate. We don't know that. Whoa. Now, I don't know if I believe this. They say Charles Oakley, the former NBA power forward, has an estimated net worth of $85 million. He earned approximately $43.9 million during his NBA career, with some reports suggesting a total of $85 million. I feel like if he did have that much money, they would have a bigger home and such, because like no shade, and maybe they just live beyond their means, or maybe they, um, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have $85 million, that was 20, 30 years ago. Um, I don't know. What do y'all think? That's why I say you can't really believe what Google be saying, because 85 million. Was Charles Oakley was he like a big shot? I don't know. Y'all tell me. I don't want to count their pockets. I just know that like they have a beautiful home, but to me it looks like a home that everyday people could afford. Not nothing that an NBA player would have and a self-made millionaire that flips homes. I just imagine them to have a like a Shamia type home. Do y'all know what I'm saying? And listen, it's no shade. It's no shade at all. Um, oops, I opened a new window. Let me close this out. Let's talk about the Porsha Kenya scene. I loved the scene with Porsha and Kenya together at that outdoor restaurant. The Atlanta cityscape background, the two it girls of Atlanta, Kenya and Porsha. I loved that scene of them. Again, it's gonna make me miss Kenya being there. I really wanted her to be a part of the season. Um, and just shout out to the production and how they did this season. I love the intro. I love the title cards. I love, when it shows their name and they pop up. Like, I love the background. I still want to know what happened to the taglines. We have yet to hear any of the ATL girls' taglines. They don't do the intro with them holding the peach doing the taglines. It's episode 2 and we've not even heard a single tagline. Now, Kenya and Porsha, they're having lunch at this restaurant outdoors in Atlanta. Kenya says that Drew said Porsha gave her her blessing when it came to her dealing with Dennis. And Porsha, is saying that's not true. She gave nobody a blessing for anything. And Porsha says that she doesn't want Dennis to film anything with Drew to compromise what they have. Okay? Which again, she's worried about Drew filming something with Dennis, Porsha getting brought up, and it being a storyline. But that's too late. It's already happened. The Drew and the Dennis of it all has become the central storyline of the season until the whole Kenya versus Britt stuff happens, which is going to happen in a couple of episodes. Um, it does kind of feel like Drew was trying to get some mess started. I'm not going to lie. Drew, you've been doing Housewives of Atlanta. This is what, your 4th season? You know how this works. You knew how this works, right? Um, Now, Drew again said that, she's partnered with Dennis because she has been with every record label and record label executive that there is, that she's, tried to work with everybody and her music's not really gone anywhere. But I'm confused on why you think Dennis is going to be how is Dennis going to be any different from a what's the guy's name? I can't think of that guy's name, that Jermaine Dupri, right? How is Dennis, if you've been with all these other major record labels, the Jermaine Dupri's, these big time folks, and they can't get your albums and your music off the ground? I just don't understand why Dennis, who's someone that doesn't have a music background, is going to catapult your music. Because I'm starting to think, Drew, and this is no shade, because I like Drew's music. I think she's got a little cute, but maybe it's not the record labels. Maybe it's not the people you're meeting with. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your music. Maybe and that's not shade. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, if you've been to all these big time record labels, people who do this for a living and nothing's really shaking, maybe you should try to maneuver and shift your image, your style, your sound. I don't know. You don't know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Now, Kenya, she asked Portia how this whole breakdown started. And Portia said that weird things, and Kenya's asking about Simon at this point. Okay, we've moved on from Dennis to Simon. And Kenya asked Portia, how did this breakdown with you and Simon start? Portia says that weird things started happening when their jet was surrounded. They were getting on a private jet one day and it was surrounded. Bitch, that would have, big red flag for me too. That would have scared the shit out of me. She also says that Simon told her that one time he was in a car that was allegedly stolen and he didn't know it. And he got caught up in that and he didn't know the car was stolen. And ever since that, he's been harassed. I guess because with him not being a legal citizen here and coming here on a green card or coming here on a visa or whatever and then getting in trouble, I guess they stay on top of you. Now we find out that Simon has been married 5 times with a fake marriage in there as well. I'm like, Simon, see, Simon was hustling, okay? He was hustling in them streets to keep the money coming in, keep himself in America. Simon was doing a lot. Because I'm like, fake marriage, what is that? Did he marry somebody just to come into the country? Is that what she's saying? Why would you have a fake marriage? I'm confused. Another thing that we learn is that Portia says that she was watching the cameras one day and she caught women in the house with Simon. She pulled the cameras up and there was women in her house. See, yeah. Mm-mm. And you married this man. This is why you shouldn't have got married to him so quick, Portia. You quick to snatch up this man from Fallon. Even though I know Fallon and Simon weren't doing well at the time. But I feel like Portia was enamored by the wealth. Let's just be real, Portia. I get you say you were in love, but you were enamored with what this man allegedly had. The cars, the jets, the homes. You knew that, okay, I don't have to go do Atlanta Housewives and stress and fight with these girls. I can go live my best life as a Nigerian princess with my new husband. And then shit hit the fan. It was all too good to be true, right? So you shouldn't have jumped in it so quick, and you should have had time to get to know this man, and you may not have had to have found out all this shady shit. You wouldn't have found women in your house on the camera. When you jump into something that quick, you don't have time to get to know the person, right? One of the scenes we see this episode is Kelly trying to open a restaurant in less than a month. In a month's time, we all know Kelly owns Nana's Chicken and Waffles in the ATL area, and she's trying to open a new restaurant because her husband shut the old one down or something like that. Her husband seems very shady. Now, we don't have her husband's side of the story, but according to Britt, he's very shady. I'm not Britt. According to Kelly, he was physically abusive. He was allegedly physically abusive, and stole money from her. We're going to get into that in a second. Now we see Britt, who is an insurance agent. We see her at her house with her man, and she mentions having a baby. And I'm just like, listen, if Britt Edie's storyline is going to be wanting a baby, she can keep it. I don't want to see it. And she could have just been a friend of. If we're going to have to watch her go through, I want to have a baby. Like, only, and listen, it's no shade, but I feel like all the housewives do this. So many housewives do this when they don't really have a lot going on. And I don't really think it's that funny because there are a lot of people out here who really do want to have children. Now, listen, Britt may want to really get pregnant, and that's great and all. And I hope she does. I hope she has a healthy, beautiful child. But we've seen that storyline so many times. And then there are the women who do that, like Melissa Gorga, claim they want to have a baby when they know good and damn well they don't want to have a baby, that they're not going to have a baby, but they just do it to keep their jobs. We hear Britt talk about her man, her husband. She says, they got married, but they never had a ceremony. We saw her talk to Kelly about wanting to have an actual wedding ceremony. I think that's for the show, That's also some storyline stuff. I also understand, though, that they got married at the courthouse. She never got to have the traditional wedding, so she wants to do it now. And why not do it on Bravo? Why not do it on TV where you can get a lot of the wedding paid for, right? So I understand. But she says with her husband, when she met her husband, that when she first met him, they went on a trip to Vegas. He invited her to Vegas, but she told him no sex. And I'm like, now, Britt, Britt, you mean you went to Vegas with this man and spent all this time and you didn't give up the pussy? Okay, Britt, we gonna stick with that. And maybe she didn't. Okay, maybe she didn't. But girl, what do y'all think of her man, Mike? I think he's cute in like an ugly way. No shade. Y'all ever seen men that are like ugly cute? Like y'all know the rapper Travis Scott. And when Travis Scott came out, that's Kylie Jenner's baby dad. When he first came out, people said he was like ugly cute. Like you're not like pretty boy cute, but you're like it's like an odd beauty. Let me not just say ugly cute. That's mean. Let me say he's like an odd handsome in a way. Brit's man. Like there's something about him. I think he's kind of cute. Now, according to the streets online, I don't believe this, but online the streets are saying that the man's gay. I'm like, really? He's married to Britt. He's got a 15-year-old daughter, which that don't always mean anything, right? Just because a man's married and has kids don't mean that he can't be gay, but I'm like, why are we throwing this label on this man already and we don't even know him? I'm like, unless his alleged side pieces are coming out and speaking, unless people have proof in the pictures and the text messages and the videos, let's not do that. Let's not say this man is gay and it's his second episode. You know what I mean? Like shit. Now, her husband, Mike, when she brings up the whole baby situation, he don't seem like he wants to really have another baby. Did y'all get that vibe? He's got a 15-year-old already. But when Britt talks about wanting to have another kid, he's just kind of like, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Y'all know when the woman wants to have another baby, but the man's just kind of like, that's kind of what I took from it. I don't know if he really wants to have one, and I think he's just trying to make her happy. Now we see the next scene is Shamia meeting with her surrogate, which happens to be Shadina. Y'all remember Shadina, who was Candy Burris' surrogate on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It looks like Shadina, helps a lot of the reality star girls, a lot of the housewives when it comes to being a surrogate and helping them extend their family. But we find out that her surrogate, Shadina, has breast cancer, and Shamia is trying to have more babies. So, Shamia feels guilty because she feels like, did the breast cancer come from Shadina trying to have Shamia's child, right? Because Shadina carried one of Shamia's children, and Shamia is kind of, feeling guilty, like, did this pregnancy and the hormones onset the breast cancer, which Shadina, assures her that that's not what it's from. She comforts Shamia in that and says, that had nothing to do with why I have breast cancer. However, obviously, Shadina's not going to be carrying any more children anytime soon, so she recommends another surrogate to Shamia. I thought that was a beautiful scene to watch between those two. Now we hear Shamia talk about, black women and the hospital mortality rates and how they're not taken serious at the doctors, and how doctors kind of just like think you're making up shit, they think you're lying, and how it affects black women in particularly. um and I'm like, well, Shamia, isn't your doctor Dr. Jackie? Because y'all know Dr. Jackie said out of her own mouth that patients be lying and she don't believe her patients sometimes. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when Jackie got in hot water and she said, there are some patients who come in and they be fibbing, which, listen, I get there might be patients that do that. But I would rather, as a doctor, believe someone when they told me they're in pain versus not believing them and something happening to them because of my ego and my pride not wanting to write them a prescription for what they need. Do y'all get what I'm saying here? Because I'm like, everybody in Atlanta, Dr. Jackie delivers their baby. So, were you shading Dr. Jackie, Shamia? I listen, I know Shamia was saying overall, doctors don't believe their patients, specifically black women, which is why the mortality rates are so high. Um, and what a great person and pure soul Shadina is. I really like her. We see Britt go over to Kelly's house and bring her dog over. They kind of have like a little girl puppy date, you know, um, which we find out that Kelly and Britt met over a year ago. They've been friends ever since, and it was good to know that they weren't just thrown together. They weren't casted and thrown together. Um, inauthentically. I like that they actually had like an organic relationship before, because I feel like that makes the show better and more real and not so produced and fake. I like their dynamic as friends. I like Britt and Kelly. They remind me of like the freaking frat. You know what I mean? This new freaking frat. However, we're seeing their budding friendship here on the show, but they have since fell out. They've since fell out, and it looks like a lot of the girls don't really care for Britt no more. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Now, did anybody else notice how nasally Britt sounded? Was she like that in episode 1? Like, she sounds like this right here when she talks. Like, my name is Britt Edie. I'm an insurance agent from Atlanta, Georgia. And I was just like, is it from her nose job? Because it looks like she's had a slight nose job. Um, but it just sounded very nasally. Now, Britt asked Kelly about her divorce. And Kelly says that, her man was cheating. He was putting his hands on her. He took $500,000 out of their business account because y'all know, like I said, they opened this restaurant, and one of her restaurants had to close down because her husband closed it down, and he took $500,000 out of their business account. She said she filed a lawsuit to get the money back. I wonder if she's got that money back. I'd like to know that, because, baby, $500,000, I'm fisting to hunt your ass down, okay? Down. Are you kidding me? Um. So yeah, we learned that scene. We learned a lot about Kelly's past relationships, and I respect and appreciate her vulnerability. Right? I respect and appreciate that. Now we see this scene where Drew invites Angela and Shamia to work out. They all go work out, and Angela pretty much confronts Drew on, why she's working with Dennis out of all people in Atlanta. Angela was kind of like us and saying like, well, Drew, it does kind of look a little funny. You calling him your angel on earth and all the, it just looks a little sus. And again, she tells Angela, her music hasn't elevated where it needs to be, and that's why she's working with him. And I think that fans need to connect with Drew and her music, and it can be hard to connect with Drew sometimes because you know, she is known for lying a lot, and sometimes I feel like Drew is acting. That's why I don't like when actresses become housewives, because sometimes I don't think they know how to cut it off. And that's been Drew's problem at times. I feel like, they catch her in lies and she's acting and putting on, and it's like, Drew, you can just be yourself, be real, live your life out loud, and just live. Stop trying to control the narrative and produce everything and make it look a certain way. Um, and Drew ends up saying, like, what I'm doing is not to try and hurt anybody. She says, I'm trying to keep my kids, I'm trying to keep myself and my kids above water. Now, when she said that, I kind of believe Drew in a way. I'm like, okay, I respect that. She's saying, look, I'm going through a divorce. I'm trying to make money right now. She's like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody by doing this partnership with Dennis. I'm trying to make money. So I'm like, okay, Drew, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But if y'all pop out as a couple now, you're gonna look crazy as hell, lying all season long about this. Now we find out. We find out from Drew. Drew tells Angela that Ralph is coming after her money. She says that Ralph wants alimony, child support, and I'm just like, I thought Ralph was this tech guy that had his own money. So why is he coming after Drew's money? I'm just like, she must be making. Obviously, I think she's making more than him. I think Ralph is going after her money because he's looking at it like, oh, she's the breadwinner now. She's making six figures off of this show every year. But I'm like, Ralph, I could just be a man and bow out of this divorce gracefully. I wouldn't really go after Drew's money like that. I could see maybe if Drew was like loaded and she was the breadwinner in your relationship and she took care of everything, but you've got your own money, Ralph. Come on. It's giving that you're mad. You're mad at this, not only the divorce, but because you're divorcing now and Drew is still on this show, she's creating music, she's a star, whether y'all like Drew or not. When I say that, I mean like she's on TV, she's making money, she's doing her thing. Because if without Housewives, if Drew was not on Housewives, Drew would be a Z-list actress. Let's just be real. Housewives revived her career. Back in the day, if you were an actress that did reality TV, it was almost like a kiss of, it was kind of like a kiss goodbye in the acting world, like that ended your career. But now reality TV almost elevates your career. And if had Drew not taken this show, I don't think. And I also think that's hard for Ralph to come by and why he's going after her money, because when he met her, Drew was still just that actress taking Lifetime movie gigs here and there to pay the bills. Now she's making this full-time Real Housewives of Atlanta check. She's been asked back for 4 seasons now. She's doing her music. She's constantly traveling and doing her thing. And he might be envious of that a little bit. Now, Shamia's there with Angela and Drew, and Angela says that she's shocked that Shamia asked Drew about the dinner situation. Um, not the dinner situation, the dentist situation. For Porsha, Angela says, I feel like you brought up the dentist situation at your party because you did it for Porsha and you asked for Porsha. And Angela says, it's almost like you're Porsha's assistant. And Shamia says, I didn't ask for Porsha. I asked for myself because I wanted to know if Drew is messing around with Dennis. Now, Shamia says, Angela, you're coming in hot. You're coming in hot. And Shamia does have a point because she says that at the party, Angela had nothing to say and Angela was mute. But now you're trying to check me and calling me Portia's assistant and her lapdog. Where did you get that from, Angela? If I was Shamia, I would be like, you don't really know me and Portia's friendship, so where are you getting assistant? Were you a fan of the show? Did you watch the show? Did somebody say that to you? 'Cause I'm going to tell y'all what it's giving me. It's giving me that a producer kind of nudged Angela and said, here's how it works. After the scenes film, producers will call and be like, how did you feel about that scene? And if Angela said, oh, I feel like Shamia is being Portia's assistant and asking her questions, a producer would say, okay, well, next time you're going to bring that up when you see Portia, right? So it feels like to me that a producer nudged Angela and said, hey, when you go meet up with, when y'all go to the gym and you meet up with Shamia and Drew, I want you to bring up to Shamia that you think she's Portia's assistant. Because this is Angela's first time on TV, right? She was very mute at the party. She was sort of quiet, and I'm going to give her that. She was kind of getting her feet wet, seeing what it was all about. Now it's her second scene. She can kind of get in there, She can kind of get her hands dirty a little bit, and that's what it seemed like. Now, Shamia thinks, oh, you can speak now? Now you can talk? Whose side are you on in that situation? Do y'all feel like Shamia is being Portia's assistant and her lapdog? I don't know if she's really being her assistant or lapdog. I wouldn't take it that far. I just think that, you know, she's got a lot of loyalty to Portia, and they've been friends for a long time. Um, but according to Candy Burris, Portia and Shamia are playing along to get along. I want y'all to. I'm gonna roll this clip. Okay, I want y'all to hear this. Let's play it.
Is that they had some issues during the season, and they really don't mess with each other like that right now. But they doing the fake. I'm messing with, like, if they're in the same room or in front of the cameras, or if or people are doing press, they're like, oh yeah, that's my girl, but knowing they ain't messing with each other right now.
What y'all think about that? Candy says that Portia and Shamia fell out during the season, and they're just playing along to get along. That's going to be interesting to see. But look, I saw this coming. When you come on Housewives, if you bring a friend on a reality show, your friendship is going to break apart eventually. It's almost designed that way. Um, Now, the last scene we see is Portia meeting up with Dennis. They take their daughter to this, kids jungle gym, rock climbing place or whatever, Chuck E. Cheese looking place. And can I just say, in that scene, Portia looked so good. Oh my God, she was beautiful. I don't know if it was the contacts, I don't know if it was the makeup or the hair, but damn, Portia was giving 10, 10, 10, 10s across the board. Ooh, she was fine. Damn, Portia. Um, Now, Portia brings Drew up to Dennis. And, she explains why she felt a type of way. And Dennis says that he was in pain. He says, I was in pain when I watched you on TV with Simon and getting married to this man, blase, blase, blah. But then he proceeds to say, I wouldn't touch Drew. You think I'm touching Drew? I would never touch Drew. I'm like, boy, bye. Because you contradicting yourself. In one breath, you over here talking about you were in pain watching Portia be with Simon. So is this your get back, Dennis? Is this your get back? Is this your way of getting back at Portia because you were jealous watching her with Simon on the show? So now you're like, oh, I'm going to get you back with Drew. That's what it seemed like to me. That's what these two blue eyes see. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, Dennis says he's using this platform, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, to promote Drew's music. And that kind of upsets Portia because she is like, she's like, why, she feels betrayed. Why are you filming with someone else? Like, I'm trying to understand where Portia's coming from, but at the same time, I don't really get it because it's like, who cares that they're filming together? It wasn't a big deal when you started filming with Fallon's ex-husband. Like, I'm just trying to understand and wrap my head around it. But it does seem like Dennis is being spiteful, and maybe that's why Portia's really upset. He's trying to be spiteful and get her back. And I'm just like, since when does Dennis want to do music? I just don't get that. I feel like he wants to be a part of the entertainment world all of a sudden. Dating Portia, he got sucked up in this reality TV world. And Atlanta is a big music city, big in entertainment. And maybe he's trying to do a career change. Hey, I ain't mad at that. And if you can get Drew's album off the ground, good for you, Dennis. So we're gonna have to see. But I think Dennis loves the spotlight. I think he loves to film the show. I think he loves the camera. Even Porsha told him he was a pro because they're at the end of the episode when they leave. Their microphones are still on and they don't really realize it at first until Dennis says we're still mic'd up, be quiet, and Portia's like, oh, you would know that because you're a pro at this, because Dennis loves the spotlight. You can tell he loves being on camera. Now Portia says that she just doesn't know why she can't get loyalty from people, but a lot of folks online are saying that Portia is getting what she deserves because of what happened between her and Simon and the whole Fallon situation. They think it's karma, and they think, like, why are you asking for loyalty when you weren't really loyal? How do y'all feel about that? Because at the same time, Portia and Fallon were never friends. So did she owe Fallon loyalty when they were never friends? Fallon was just brought on, to test as a housewife, as a friend. Look, I don't know. We'll have to watch this all play out on the season. This whole Drew, Dennis, Portia love triangle situation. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions on the episode, though. I'm kind of stuck in the middle with this situation between Portia and Drew. I'm trying to understand Portia's point of view, but at the same time, I can kind of see what Drew's meaning. But Drew, you knew what this was going to look like. Of all the people you could work with, you knew what this was going to look like. You knew it'd be a good storyline. I think I'm Team Porsche on this one. I think so. Leave me your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up button. That helps me get into the algorithm. If you're enjoying these recaps and reviews, let me know in the comments below, and we will continue doing them. Okay, really truly appreciate you guys so much. If you want to donate to the channel, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate using PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark.